Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed leaders. A warm welcome to meeting number 267th meeting of Vellore Toastmasters Club. The mission of the Toastmasters Club is to provide a positive and supportive learning which the member are empowered to develop their communication and leadership skills to greater self-confidence and personal growth. Before we going to start our meeting, I have some ground rules. Number 1, please put your mobile phones and other electronic devices in silent mode. Number 2, please do not enter or exit the venue if someone is talking on the stage. You can do so, you can hear the sound of applause. The last but not least, interact and have fun to each other. With this, I would like to invite our President, Toastmaster Adidas.
Thank you, SAA, for the warm welcome and the energetic start. I welcome you all for today's surprise session. We all know in Toastmasters we have a lot of surprises every session. So today's session we will be having education speaker. That's a surprise. Our TMOD will give you a great introduction and he will welcome the education speaker. That's the today's surprise. And our Toastmaster Carolyn will be welcoming our education speaker. And we have one more surprise. Our past area director, E4 director, Toastmaster Bhagat has come to our Vellore Toastmasters Club. He's a member since 2017, immediate past area E4 director, received select distinguished area director, best outstanding member, leadership excellence and best enthusiasm. And we have one more guest, Jasila. She was an administrative professional. She is back from UAE. Let's welcome her. How do you know about Toastmasters?
I just browsed myself Google. I always wanted to improve my public speaking skills. So I was going in search of that. I didn't find that for a speaking. Somehow I find it and I get a motivation. And that's why I'm here.
Thank you. I hope you have got a learning platform in Vellore, that is Vellore Toastmaster Club.
I'm really learning from all of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And there is a Japanese proverb. Even when you stand up from your fall, don't stand up with the empty handed. It means, it suggests that the failures, the setbacks, the challenges made you to stand with a lot of confidence. That is the Japanese proverb say that. I'll announce this 267th meeting officially and handing over the stage to our hero of the day, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Karthik.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and educational speaker. Special warm welcome. So today I am going to sort of do a repeat of what I have spoken already on finance or non-finance. Finance means it is not the money, it is about finance management, financial management. Non-finance means for anybody. And I have to really appreciate Toastmaster, my insurance poster, which very clearly and very crisply put it across what is the activity of the speech. Because I am not going to make you a chartered accountant or a department analyst in this speech. Nor am I qualified, because now I saw Toastmaster Nibble's introduction that he is a chartered accountant. I have no business to talk about finance in front of a chartered accountant because I am an automobile engineer basically. So I did MBA, some finance, but then basically a physics student from this college, an automobile engineer, but then I have gone to real acid test as far as finance is concerned. Personally, and of course professionally, as you go up in the corporate ladder, I didn't do nothing about automobile engineering when I was heading a company in Muscat. It was all about numbers. Sales, expenses, profit, and operating. That's all about it. You go very far away from your core subjects as you grow up in the ladder. That is one thing. And secondly, I have had the unique privilege of having been cheated a number of times. I never learned the lesson. I lost so much of money. So this is what exactly I want to share with you. How you have to avoid the silly and stupid mistakes that I have been committing all my life, so that your finance is safe and your future is safe. It's a very small, as Toastmaster Mahesh said, it is practical day-to-day life tips that I will give you. So, coming back to the finance or non-finance, see, if I ask you how the fan works, you should know Faraday's law, you should know physics. Or if I ask why, what is NaCl, you should know chemistry. If I ask you how to go about the maritime route from USA to London now when Hormuz is closed and Suez Canal is closed, you have to have Cape of the boat. You have to go geography. But you don't need to know nothing to know about finance, because day in and day out you practice finance unconsciously, unknowingly. In every activity that you do, there is financial management involved. In fact, why I chose this was, I have a domestic helper. She's absolutely uneducated. She has not gone to the school. But the way in which she manages her finances is just amazing, mind-boggling. She tosses around her finances just like that. They do this chip fund loan. And our son's salary, he is a mason, he don't spend some money. He has to give the entire 100% of the salary to his mother. He is very confident that his mother can handle the finance much better than he can do. So, and this, I think he's been right, because 30 years back when she joined our household, she had a thatched hut to live. Today, they have a concrete house and with UPS, AC, water filter, all fitted. And I have seen their growth in front of me and how wonderfully she manages her finance. And it doesn't need big finance degree or doesn't need a commerce or a chartered accountant to be a good financial manager. But the very survival instinct makes you good in finance. She was orphaned by her family. She was in a street. She had to come up on her own. She was a widow at the age of 60 with one child. And it was, the whole life was against her, against all odds. They came up, they are now have a very decent life to lead. All because I think the way in which she wonderfully managed finance. So this is what all of us should understand. That, and in fact, our education system, my son also said, what education system we have. They teach zoology, geography, history, but they don't teach anything about finance, which is a big lapse in our system. Somehow they should introduce education. So coming back to the financial management of day-to-day. See, in corporate, there is one simple formula. Earnings minus expenses is profit. However big your company is, whether it be Tesla, Maruti Suzuki or any company, they have to finally follow this simple formula. Earnings minus maybe cost, that will be gross profit minus expenses will be net profit. This is for corporate. For personal finance, it is simpler. Earnings minus expenses is savings. It's not profit, it is savings or surplus. Yeah. So in corporate, what all you do all the time is to increase the earnings, decrease the expenses, so that you increase the net profit. Simple mathematical formula you have. Same thing you have to do in your life. And with this, I will hand over the stage to the general evaluator, T.M. Kalevani, who will introduce a tax overview evaluation process.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As a general evaluator, go well. And I will also look into the meeting structure, flow, organization and delivery of all the speeches. And to assist with this evaluation, I have a tag team, a timer, a counter and a grammarian. To explain about the timer role, let me call Toastmaster Caroline to read out the time documents.
Thank you, General Moderator. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and our distinguished guests. So as I will be playing the role of the timer today, and we have two amazing speeches. One of our members is giving an icebreaker speech, which will be for 4 to 6 minutes, and another member is going to complete his part, and that speech is going to be for 18 to 20 minutes. So the timer card would be as follows. So for the icebreaker, at 4 minutes, the member will get the green card, at 5 minutes would get the yellow card, and at 6 minutes would get the red card. And for the pathway completion, at 15 minutes, the member will get a green card, at 18 minutes would get the yellow card, and at 20 minutes would get the red card. For the evaluation, it's for 2 to 3 minutes. So at 2 minutes, the green card will be shown, and 2 minutes 30 seconds, yellow card will be shown, and at 3 minutes, the red card will be shown. Coming to the table topics, it's for 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, we will get the green card. At 1 minute 30 seconds, the yellow card, and at 2 minutes, the red card. All the very best to all the speakers, and over to you.
Thank you, timer. Let me call Toastmaster Nandini for explaining the founder and the listening.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. So, what makes a communication a great speaker?
Flow of speech.
It's not something, a fluency they have, it is not something how grammarly they correct, but it is like a bridge. Communication works like a bridge, and it has two edges. One edge, how better we have the context and how well we are giving the clarity. On the other hand, how well we are listening to the people oppositely speaking to us. So, communication is based on two heroes, how we deliver and how we listen. And today I'm doing this both roles. As our counter, I will listen how you deliver, and I will note down your filler words like and as a listener, I will be formulating few questions and check your attention span in today's meeting. So all the best everyone, listen carefully and use your filler words carefully. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nandini, for beautifully explaining the role and the roles and responsibilities of our founder and listener role. Let me call Toastmaster Maheshwaran to explain about the review.
Thank you, once again, good morning to the Toastmasters and guests. I'm Toastmaster Maheshwara as a grammarian for today. As a grammarian, my role is listen carefully to uses of language, and I'll be noticing the errors and filler words. And as a grammarian, it's my duty to introduce the word of the day. The word of the day is ubiquitous. Can anyone say? Ubiquitous. Have you ever listened to the word meaning before?
Yes.
Ubiquitous means present or found everywhere. Example, smartphone have been ubiquitous in day-to-day life. Over to general development of Muslim.
Thank you for all the role players for explaining the responsibilities of each role. With that, I hand over the speech to you.
So I seek to give brief introduction of the Toastmasters meeting to the guests. We have 3 sessions basically. The first is where Toastmasters come prepared with the speech and delivery. And the second one is table topic session, which is topic is given. And anybody can volunteer or they can be chosen to speak on that subject as an expert impromptu speech for 2 minutes. That is the most daily topic session. The third is the most important evaluation session. As somebody said in the last postmaster meeting, what is measured cannot go. So we have to evaluate, find out our mistakes and our achievements in the speeches or activities so that we can refine our abilities. This is the objective of Toastmasters. So now I have the pleasant job of introducing the icebreaker speaker, Toastmaster Vimal, who is a chartered accountant, and if I had known that, I would have changed the topic. It is like entering the Diana step. So he is doing GST and income tax practitioner with Hindi. Like I will also do some tax planning in the course of my speech. Tax evasion is similar, but tax planning is accepted practice to reduce your tax burden. Now I call upon Toastmaster Vimal to deliver his icebreaker speech. Sorry. I call the speaker first.
Toastmasters Nandini.
Toastmaster Nandini to give the evaluation remarks.
Today my target speaker is Toastmaster Vimal. As he enrolled in presentation mastery and he is going to deliver his first ever speech in this club, his icebreaker. So the project objective is for the member to introduce himself to the club and learn the basic structure of public speech. As our usual practice, after his icebreaker, we all need to do the standing ovation to appreciate his efforts and encourage him to do more in this club. All the best to my target speaker.
So I call upon Toastmaster Vimal Raj to deliver his icebreaker speech.
Good morning, all. I welcome the special guest, and my fellow Toastmasters to my icebreaker speech. I am going to talk about who is Vimal. Vimal is a bachelor degree holder in commerce and a CA Inter qualified person. And he is from Market. He is running a tax consultancy office in Market since 2017 when GST was introduced in India. I completed my CA Inter in 2017 May. Then my friend decided to start a tax consultancy office. He is also an inter-qualified person. He started in his own place and I started in my place. We had a discussion how we will go because when GST was introduced, we think that we have a lot of scope to work and to gather clients, but it did not work like that. We struggled a lot during our first 3 years from 2017 to 2020. Because existing clients will go to the concerned tax consultant only, not prefer to a newer one. So we struggled a lot during our first 3 years. After 2020, COVID came and we struggled a lot because we people will depend on business people only. If we provide consulting, then they may help us consulting fee. So everything get managed by 3-4 months. We didn't get any income and we struggled a lot. After COVID wave gone, then my business started slowly developing stage by stage. But another break came. My father, who is working in a private company, due to COVID, he is forced to give VRS. Not only him, the entire but this situation troubled me a lot, and I was forced where to start or where to end. I go this way or that way, like in the middle of the street, and I was not getting a clear idea where I am going to continue in my studies or in my business. In that situation, I decided to focus on my business rather than studies. After my completion of CA Inter, I take a bigger gap in appearing in my exams. That is the biggest mistake I done. Why? Because I face a lot of fear and insecurities, and I lost my confidence because of that bigger gap. That made me to feel guilty about myself. Why? Because on that situation, what if that word destroy my entire self-confidence and my decision-making thing? I usually think in a negative way. Why? Because what if that goes wrong, what I will do for the rest of my life? Like that, I think in my entire journey. So I lost many things during my journey, and I lost my confidence, and I tried a lot, but I was forced to stage like whatever goes, okay, we face anything, it goes like that, and in the journey I learned a thing like no one was advising me or guiding me in a proper way. I feel like separated, and I don't know, I have no education wise, I don't have any advices, or in a professional way, I don't have any advices to guide me in a correct way. Everything was learned by me only. So, my friend, he also, what the thing is, what one thing was totally confusing me is that we go for studies, we have to complete the studies first and come for employment. If we come for employment, we will focus on work and money related only. Rather than studies, we will focus. It is not us, it forces us to do the work or the commitment we already committed to the class. So that is the thing happened to me. And finally, Toastmaster Monica was introduced 6 years before to my life as a professional consultant. I met her, and she is the one who is guiding me professionally and in an educational way also. She is the one who insisted me to appear in exam after my long break. I took her advice and appeared in my exam, but I faced a lot of difficulties and fear to write the exam also. I feel like I started to fear for the exams results and everything. After that, she introduced me to this club. She is the one who introduced me to this club, and she was the one who is guiding about this. So you are facing something in your life, you have to overcome that. To overcome your fear, you should fight for this. So that one thing, I decided to join this club, and thank you everyone for your support and your overwhelming actions. Thank you.
Before we go on to the next speaker, we'll call upon the speaker evaluator, Toastmaster Abhidharma, to give you
Thank you. My target speaker he has chosen the pathway presentation mastery. When you decide to learn something, that is the start. When you plan structurally, it is 50% task is completed. When you complete 50% task, your reflection of remaining 50% percentage will be there, how you work. So today my target speaker, already he had given his level 5 project 1, now he is heading towards project 2. And his time limit will be 18 to 22 minutes. Let's 18 to 20 minutes. As an evaluator, I will be expecting an engaging keynote style speech from my target speaker. Over to Toastmaster.
I call upon your Toastmaster Ramesh to deliver his pathway speech. The title he has chosen is an oxymoron, explaining the figures of speech is calm advantage, Toastmaster Ramesh, calm advantage.
So this is a story about a 10-year-old calm child of my son who works in abroad. Very recently he was in a hurry to rush to the airport, but he has lost his wristwatch. The entire family was frantically looking for his watch. They were very sure that this is the room. And everybody, it's a large family and everybody was searching for it. They searched for 2 hours. They couldn't find it. Finally, this small boy, he said, I'll go and look for it. What he really did is, he said, no one should come inside the room. I will go and get the watch. He went inside, he shut the door, he remained calm, and he was concentrating on the ticking of the watch. He was so composed, he was so organized, he was able to hear that clock ticking noise. And immediately, within few minutes, he was able to fetch that and was able to give it to my friend. So that is the advantage of being calm. Good morning, Toastmasters. Today, I am very happy to be in front of you delivering my speech. And let me tell you, this is going to be a very important speech. I wanted your undivided attention for the next 15-20 minutes. What I am going to talk is a skill that everybody should hone in their professional and personal life. There is a famous Tamil sentence, I know many of you know it. Let me tell you, those who don't understand, don't worry about it. If you are working in the operations, you already looked at it. So I am in the operations and every day is a challenge for me. So here I am going to talk to you about how to remain calm under pressure. There will be a lot of situations where you will be put into a lot of pressure. For us being in operations every day is different. It's not the same way of operations. How many of you have received phone calls by 4 o'clock in the morning? 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, midnight 12 o'clock? So, sir is in the operations.
I was.
So nobody is going to call at 4 o'clock to tell you, sir, the day is very beautiful. Sun is shining superbly. Have a great day, sir. Nobody is going to call and disturb you at 4 o'clock. By 4 o'clock, what does it mean? Some problems happening. He will call me and say, sir, 4 o'clock load hasn't come at all. 5 o'clock, operation should start. What to do? What is our answer should be? Wait, things will fall in place. That is the first reassurance as a leader we should be able to tell. Every now and then, problems will surface. You have to be a person who can be reasonable. Every day morning, I get out to the office with a beautiful plan. I would have done my homework the previous day. I will go with a lot of enthusiasm, very good temperament. I will have a very clear plan for the entire day. But unfortunately, the plan will have another plan. It will give me surprises. I always expect surprises. and it has never disappointed me. No day is a normal day for us being in the operations. One fine day, one of the manager came running. Sir, all 60 people are agitating. They've stopped the work. By 12 o'clock, it is the peak time of our operations. And he is very tensed. We are also tensed. And only the supervisors were around me. All the employees just outside the gate. They were just agitating. These supervisors were panicked to the maximum. And when they came in, they were just looking at me. How is this guy going to react? You know, panic is contagious. If you panic, the entire team panics. If you are composed, cool and calm, the entire team becomes calm. When I said, when they looked at me, I said, okay, we'll get it through, don't worry. No, we'll take care, no? That reassurance made the team to calm down. That calmness created confidence in the team. Without those 60 people, whether we will be able to get through the day. That was the biggest challenge. And when we have confidence, we get clarity. When we got clarity, we said, okay, what will be the plan B? Where are the resources that we can get in to run the operations effectively? And we mobilized resources here and there, and we reached up to the top level management. And within no time, we got the entire resources together, and our operations never got affected. Just because the calmness that we created. Whenever you enter an office, because we are all working professionals, there would be someone whom you think there will be a reassurance factor. For me, if I see an employee, my colleague, maybe my subordinate, if for example Toastmaster Nandini, if I see her on the seat on that particular day, I think, okay, she is there. My operations will go smoothly. That's the level of reassurance a person can give. And many a times, my own people have told, sir, if I see you on the desk, on your table, we are rest assured there is someone to take care of the entire day operation. You know, problems will be coming from different directions. Can you live without problems? For sure, problems are going to come. How are we going to react matters the most. When problems comes to your doorsteps and knock, when you open, the way you react, the way you interact with the problem matters the most. Who are you when you encounter a problem? That defines your trait as a leadership. So it is very, very important when problems come, you should be a person who can be a reassurance to the entire team. You don't know where you get the problems. Problems are inevitable. That entire day, we sat as a team, we said, okay, we will get it through this day. The next day we should be ready. So we need to have plan B. So when you are in the operations, you need to do a lot of pre-mortems and post-mortems. An incident has happened, so we did a post-mortem. What went wrong? And we also did a pre-mortem. What can be done for the next day? So all these pre-mortems, post-mortems has worked out very well for us, and we were able to get through the difficult times. And we also have people, when we reached out to our top level administration, they never said, what man, you have a lot of problems every day. When you reach up to certain people, they say, yes, yes, there is a problem, we will handle it. So that's the level of communication a leader should have. When people approaches you, you don't have to have solutions. You need to give give them the confidence. Yes, we can get through. How many of you still remember COVID? How challenging it was. Lot of challenges. You don't know what will happen to you the next day. And being in healthcare, we were only the authorized people to go out of the home to the workplace. And you know the resources were so limited. When you wanted to run the operations, you need to get materials from every part of the state of the country. And with lot of restrictions, even you cannot cross the border near Puttathar, and you will be stopped. And in our operations, we had all North Indians. North Indians, you would have seen in the videos, people started walking to their hometowns. They never minded about whether it is kilometers to walk. They were very much frightened. They said, okay, I have to go back home. We had a team, the core team in the kitchen. All of a sudden, everybody vanished. One fine day, as part of my routine, I went into the kitchen to see how things are there. That scene, it has etched in my mind till today, though it's been almost 6-7 years down the line right now. But the memory is very fresh. The amount of pressure that we underwent is enormous. When you enter in the kitchen, where you have to serve 1,000 patients that night, because the hospital was full, the patients were admitted, no home food was allowed, only the hospital food needs to be given to the patients. I entered. Unusually, the kitchen was very, very silent. From the long distance, I could see a cook, one single soul, having one ladle and standing. Very unfortunate. I went and asked him, hey, what is happening? Where are those people? He said, everybody went, sir, ran away. You tell me what to do. In such situation, I think everybody would have faced situations. You would just put up your hand. How many of you face such situations? Probably in your workplace, in your personal life.
Most of us.
Most of us. And just keep your hands up. During that time, how many of you have wondered what a wonderful life it is? Very peaceful, very relaxing. How many of you? So it's part and parcel of life. So challenges are part and parcel of life. That particular day, it was a mammoth challenge in front of us. And it was very, I'm not getting the words here. So that much of tension was there amongst the entire team. Everyone, the other people just came and stood in front of me and said, sir, what to do? What to do? Go! I don't know. Huh? Problems, no, you go and handle. If this is the way I am going to speak to my team, will the work get done? Will the problem get solved? There were two options in front of me. Whether I can panic. Yes, things have went wrong, I can panic myself. Or I can remain calm, cool, collected, and with the team support, I can overcome the situation. Option one, panic. Panic, I decided, okay, panic is not going to cook my food. Has panic ever cooked the food? No, panic is not going to serve me 100,000 odd patients sitting there for the food. It is not going to. I chose the option two. So we had a quick team meeting. I said, okay, we will overcome it. Rest assured, we are a very competent team. We can mobilize resources. We have very good administration. Yes, we will definitely overcome the situation. everybody came together, we mobilized resources. This incident started by 1 o'clock. By 4 o'clock, we were able to identify the resources. By 7 o'clock, on time, we were able to deliver food for all 1,000-odd patients without any delay. And as a team, we all went back home on time. So these things teach us one significant thing. What is that?
Calm and composed.
Why we need to be calm and composed?
Collaboration.
Collaboration. Then?
Think clearly.
Yes. So, calmness gives you what? Confidence. When you have confidence, you have clarity. Calmness gives you confidence. When I want to come and speak here, I need to remain calm. To be on the stage, I need to have confidence. If I'm there here on the stage with confidence, I get clarity on my thoughts. When you have clarity on thoughts, you can act accordingly. When you act in such a way with clarity and confidence, what you really get is the wonderful results. So, calmness. What comes next? Confidence, clarity, results to action, action results to results. When you wanted to have very good results during crisis, you need to have this formula in your mind always. Leadership is not tested when things are right. Leadership is tested when things are going wrong. You will never know when problems will surface. Whether you have the temperament, whether you can just motivate your team to give their best. If you panic the team, you're gone. If you motivate your team, they rise up to the occasion and deliver the best. So as we come to the close of this particular topic, I wanted you to take a take-home message when you leave this room. Can you be a person who can be a person of reassurance to your entire team? What qualities I should develop? When problems come, they don't look for the smartest person. They don't look for the cooler, loudest person. They don't look for the intellectual person. They look for the person who is very calm. If somebody is calm outside, they are very strong inside. Okay? So when you go out, go with confidence. Never get influenced with the problems that you get. It is whether you have to be emotionally intelligent or intellectually intelligent. At workplace, you have to execute your intellectual quotient. Problems happen, just do a math and finally overcome it. Okay? So, will you all be a person of reassurance when you go back to your workplace tomorrow?
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Ramesh, for your inspiring speech. I vouch for each word and sentence of you because understand what is the critical importance of calmness in his profession, where he is working in CMC. You should go to the OPD at 8 o'clock in the morning. CMC is a hospital which gets 30 to 40,000 footfalls per day. You really need to be a calm manager to handle that chaotic situation. And I think he's been doing it for quite some time. So I say, in corporate finance, your objective is to increase the profit. By reducing the expenses or increasing the earnings. Same is the case with the personal finance. And you do all the time, you cannot increase the earnings every time because plan is annual increase every month or you can't change the job every year. But that is not in your control. But expenses are very much in your control. You have to do expense control, and expense control is ubiquitous. It is present everywhere. Unconsciously, you do it. You open the curtain, switch off the light, savings. You open the window, switch off the fan, savings. You go to Udavan Sunday, buy tobacco, instead of buying in Harish Kuto, write some savings. You do all that, ensure that your expenses are lower and the savings are higher. Now the next important question is why the hell should I save? I will deal with that in the session after the break. Now I call upon Toastmaster Caroline to introduce the education session speaker.
It is really my privilege to welcome our distinguished Toastmaster Satish Menon to our club, and his introduction is very, very impressive. I am just going to highlight a couple of things. So our speaker this morning is someone who is a first generation IT entrepreneur from the bustling city of Mumbai. So his work has taken him across the length and breadth of India and nearly 22 countries around the globe. In Toastmasters, his journey has been equally inspiring. Since joining in December 2013, he has served with distinction at every level: club, area, division, district, and his exemplary leadership culminated in him serving as the district director for District 120 in the program year 2021 to 2022. He played a pivotal role in shaping memorable conferences such as the Reverberation 2017 and Ovation 2019. A voracious reader with a personal library of 4,000 books. Really want to visit that, sir, someday. And a passionate collector of miniature, aircraft models and aviation memorabilia. He truly exemplifies lifelong learning. Those who are awake at 7 a.m., please join their club, Wake Up Toastmasters. We are going to learn a lot of things from this beautiful club. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to our distinguished Toastmaster.
Green cover on the table. Should I distribute?
Yeah, we can distribute. People will get an idea of it. So good morning everyone. Good morning. Before I start, let me tell you a small story. It's not a story, it's a real life example that happened. Mark Brown, who a lot of you would have heard, he is one of the world champions of public speaking in Toastmasters. In every Toastmasters convention you go in the world, he is the voice that comes as the background voice. And he's been to Chennai a couple of times as part of our district conferences. He told one story to us, saying that after he finished giving his world championship speech, he went to his club. All of them are regular attendees to their club. So he went to his club, he gave a speech. When time for the evaluation came, the evaluator stood up, the evaluator gave the feedback and he said, Mark, your speech is not in line with the speech objectives, please repeat. He didn't look at whether Mark was the world champion of public speaking. So how can a world champion of public speaking make a mistake? Nothing. He said your speech is not in line with speech objectives, please repeat. And the mark said, when I looked at my speech and compared it with the speech objective, I found that it was true. So I had not prepared that. What I wanted to tell through this example is, the first rule of when you are doing a speech evaluation is, please don't evaluate the speaker, evaluate the speech. Don't create that bias in your mind to say, so somebody is a very experienced speaker, so this person can never do anything wrong. Or I have heard this person from long time and this is the way they will speak. So let my evaluation also be on those lines. When you're standing there, and those of you who are in the law practice, when you go and argue in front of a judge, the judge will say, argue on the merits of the case. Don't argue on who's standing in that pedestal, right? Argue on the merits. But evaluation is also the same manner. When you're evaluating, evaluate the speech, don't evaluate the speaker. Don't look at things that, oh, that person might have had a bad day today, so that's why this speech, his or her speech is not so good. They usually deliver a good speech. Or I know this person, so some of the background I know, so let's give them the benefit of doubt and say, this is the way they will speak. Objectives are there, the speaker is speaking, evaluate for your objectives. When you got only 3 minutes to evaluate a 7-minute speech, or in some cases a 15 to 20-minute speech. So how will you kind of comprise or compress all of that which you heard in 7 minutes or 22 minutes into 3 minutes? It's very simple. First is look for if there is anything that could be out of the speech. Every person will start with an example. Like our second speaker talked about, started with searching for the watch. Right? So immediately you will get thinking about, is it going to be something like somebody was searching for something and the speech is going to be around it. But that was just an example to say that how we need to concentrate. And then we took off, build on it and say how we want to kind of build the confidence in people and how we need to concentrate on what we need to do. So look for that kind of opening which people will speak of. First speaker spoke about icebreaker. So when he spoke about himself. Now this was his first speech, he's just 1 month into the club. And you could see that he was feeling hesitant to stand in front of an audience and speak. It is very much expected of somebody who's just into Toastmasters. But the way he spoke about his life. And then he told about all the struggles that he had and how he overcame it. And he's trying to overcome it. So that is the punchline. So look for something which is a punchline or a keynote in that speech in the first beginning sentence. So you should open your evaluation with that. Like I would say to the first speaker, I said, Toastmaster Vimal, your was an icebreaker speech. You are a Toastmaster with 1 month of experience. And you stood here and spoke about your life experiences in a very confident manner. What you spoke related to most of us, or at least it related to me. Because I can't speak for everybody, but at least it related to me, the struggles that you went through. It's all the challenges that a lot of us have faced in our life. So the way to open with that, you are connecting that speaker and saying that yes, I understand what the objective of that speech is. This was an icebreaker speech to talk about this. Immediately you build a connect with the audience to say, yes, I understand what it is. Look for that book is what we say. Second is, talk about the positive parts. Immediately don't go into the negative and say, you didn't go around the stage or you didn't do this or that. Talk about the positives. What are the positives in that speech? Positives is, I like the way you presented your speech. You didn't show any fear in standing in front of the audience and speaking. For someone who is just 1 month into Toastmasters, I really love the confidence that you had when you stood and spoke in front of the audience. So that's how to kind of connect the speech. Your language was very simple. And the way you spoke, it was narrating your own personal experience. and we could all get that message very clearly. That's to say that yes, this is some other points which I want encouraging in that speaker's speech. But then again, when you tell somebody that you are doing something good, you also have to tell how you need to improve. Some people might say, why do we need to tell that? Because we need to tell that because there is nothing in this world called as perfect or best. We only are improving ourselves compared to what we were yesterday. There is no definition that says if you do all this, you are the best speaker. I always tell that even for world champion of public speaking, somebody might be the world championship of public speaking or might be the district champion on that particular day. Same speech given some other day in front of some other judges will not even get you a podium finish. It's all people's perception and the way how you perform on that day. So there's nothing called best. You only need to improve as you go on. So when you are giving a feedback, always give suggestion for improvement. What is it that you can improve? So if you take those possible speech, I would say you had the confidence to speak, you spoke a story which was your story, but to make it more effective, you would have wanted a little bit more vocal variety. Especially when we talked about your father getting the DRS or you dropping off from your studies and taking a break. A little vocal variety to you that time to show that despondence or to show the sadness would have taken the speech to a different level. The students spoke. If you had just moved around the stage and spoken, and you were only looking at one particular side, if you had looked around to the audience, you would have connected the entire audience with your speech. So these are some of the ways that you can give feedback. Never say no. Just say that what you could have done better. And the last thing, taking this example, is when you close, since the strong points I like about you, or your speech where you had the confidence to speak, you stood here and spoke a story that was your own story, which is what is recommended from an icebreaker. So it was in line with the speech objectives. To display the right confidence to go and not get lost in front of an audience, because some people do lose words when they stand and speak in front of an audience for the first time. But implement some of the recommendations that have been told, and your speech, as you do in your Toastmasters journey, to slowly progress to the next level. So that's how you do it. It's what is called as Toastmasters or Post Evaluators call it CRC. C stands for comment, R stands for recommend, and C stands again for comment. Comment what is good, recommend what is needed to improve, and then again when you're closing, close with commendation. So don't close on a negative note, close on a positive note. Some people also will call it as the sandwich method, because bread on both sides, and in the middle there is the filling that gives you the nourishment. So the feedback is in the middle, and the top and the bottom is where you say, yes, it's the same thing, but what is the real crux is right there in the middle. And CRC is the term that most people use. So when you are giving a speech, that should be that way. Now the second speech, Toastmaster Ramesh, it was a 18 to 20 minute speech. Now for him, you can say, Toastmaster Ramesh, we could see the real confidence with which you opened your speech. And you started with an example of object getting lost and people trying to search for it out. For me, I thought that this would be something about trying to find out who did it and how it happened and how it was found. So it was more like a lost and found theory that you were going to present. But I was mistaken, like a moving changing tracks. This is more about just opening scene and then the movie taking off to a different direction. You wanted to set an example there to say how concentration matters. And then we took us on a journey which talked about how people will react under pressure. And what was good about your speech was the number of examples which you gave. Examples that were relatable examples. See, this is very important. Sometimes when a speaker gives an example which the audience cannot relate, however best the speech would be, it will never connect with the audience. Any example that you give, it should connect with the audience. he gave an example which was more about, say, feeling pressure. All of us would have got that kind. Those in the work environment would have got it. Those studying for exams would have got it. You say tomorrow is the exam, how do I kind of prepare for it? So pressure is something which we talk about. How do you connect people together? Another good point about your speech was you engage the audience by asking questions, which is also very, very important when an evaluator is giving an evaluation. Did the speaker engage the audience? Especially in an 18 to 20 minute speech, if you don't engage the audience, sometimes you lose the audience. Because you are the only one who's speaking, the others are not. And if your speech is say monotonous, you're speaking in the same tone, or you are speaking on a subject which is very dry subject, which others can't understand, then you lost the audience. But this speech, you spoke, you connected the audience by asking questions. You told the audience to tell examples about their coming under pressure in their daily life. So that's something which is very good because you kind of built the momentum of the speech as it went. And then in the end, you give examples and you make people say, what is it that you will do? How will you react to the question? So you left it with a question and then people make their decisions on how they will react under pressure, rather than telling somebody that this is what you need to do. That's something which is very, very important to have a speech. When you're giving a speech and when you're evaluating a speech, look if the speaker has left the speech with a message. Very, very important. In any speech, an icebreaker speech also, 50 to 20 minute speech, a keynote that you do, always leave a message for the audience, or always leave something which they feel that they can go back and implement, or it is something that connects with them. This speech connected well with the audience because I think everybody has faced pressure situations in life. We spoke about COVID. COVID is also very important because every one of us has been affected with that in some way or the other. And the example that he gave about hospitals and staff not being there and how that was managed is a very, very relatable example. So when you're giving a feedback, give positives. So what he could have done better, because as I mentioned, there is nothing called best or perfect, we all need to improve as we go along. What he could have done better? Stage movement. Stage movement, yes. He was walking, but he was looking down and walking. So when you're walking, people say that usually some of the steps recommended is that if I'm standing here, if there's an audience sitting right in front of you, just divide that stage into a V. So maybe you go this side, speak something, come back, stand here, speak something, and then go here and speak something. So when you are addressing this part, you are addressing this part, you are addressing this part. And when you come to the closure, come back here. Don't close the speech by standing here or there. So this is what, if you look at some of the good speakers, if you go and look at World Championship videos on YouTube, most of the speakers will adopt this technique. And some people say that if you are afraid of stage fright, look up, don't look at the audience. Because when you are on an elevated stage and you are looking like this, I will know that you are looking at it. Or one of the actors, famous actors said, another technique is, if I am looking at you, I will not look at you, I will look behind you. But to you, you will feel that I am looking into your eyes. So those are some of the techniques we use to get away from stage fright. Don't pat yourself on a single individual. That's something that we need to tell the speaker. Because one of the things, and again if you refer to this ballot sheet, this is the international speech ballot, and here if you look at it, and this is typically an evaluation. Because at the end of the day, a ballot is also an evaluation. Speech development has got 15 points. Okay. So, now 15 points, so go to the back, so go to the back. Here it says, content has got 50%. So what is important when we talk about is the content. Icebreaker and content which he spoke about himself. The second speech had examples pertaining to leadership and real life examples. So that comes under content. The second part is delivery, how well they deliver it, which is 30%. 30% isolated speech, I would say 10% for the delivery. Because his first speech and he will take time to improve. I would say it's 10%. But he did deliver, but he will take, if he incorporates all the recommendations, he will improve over a period of time. Ramesh's speech, I would say 20% for delivery, because when he was delivering at some point of time, he was coming as conversation. Again, if your difference of speech is there, if you are delivering a speech which is an icebreaker, it can be conversation. If it is a speech which is a keynote, or if it is a speech which is a level 5, it has to come up as something that you are inspiring people for action, or you are telling something that they need to do, or they need to do. So the tone has to be different there. Third is the language. Language in both the cases, I think both the speakers used simple language. So they didn't use language which was too high or too low. Here again you have to remember that in Toastmasters we use language, the spoken language in our club meetings is English. So if we use any other language, we sure that everybody in the room understands it. Because even if some people lose what you are not, they don't understand their language, you have lost the message. But I'm saying this is very important. Now the contest research will come and some of them will contest. So some lines might sound humorous if I speak it in a local language. But if the audience doesn't get it, you will lose that laughter. It's very humorous. Or some of the judges don't get it, you will not get points. Because they didn't know what to score. But the line could be a very humorous line. It could be very hard to situation. So that's something which as an evaluator we should always tell. That is something that the speaker spoke, which is not the Ramesh used a common quote, but can he explain what it was? So if you are using a quote like that, please explain that this is what it is, for the benefit of those who don't understand. So that again is very, very important. Now some of the suggestions that you can give, say for the icebreaker, how to make it more impactful. He stood on stage and he said, this is how my life journey started. I've seen some people do it. There was one guy who went and wrote on the board 25th of December. He started his icebreaker that way. He said, what is that date? Everybody said Christmas. So he said, whose birthday is celebrated? He said, of course, Jesus Christ. He said, one more person was born on that day. That was me. So the way he started it immediately connected to the audience. One person born on a human horror kind of a thing. They said it was a dark and rainy night. The thunder was clapping all over. We had lightning crashing. The rain was coming down in torrents. At the end of a long corridor, you could hear a child's cry. That was the night I was born. So, different ways of connecting. As in when you are giving your evaluation, you can use all this to tell people that this is the way you can connect or make your speech better. Because that is how people will connect with the speech. Ramesh's speech also, who he started off, you could also like, let's say, quote from movies or quote from like, I always say that there is a problem speech. If any one of you has watched the movie Pulp Fiction, there is a character that comes in the movie. So when the door gets open, he puts off his hat and says, I am Winston Good, I solve problems. Only those who watch the movie will know, others will not know. So when you are using content like that, be rest assured that people know the one that movie is. And give examples on what you can do better. Any speech given with an example is a best speech. People should relate to it, people should know what they are planning. Both the speeches today need to connect. Both the speeches today have room for improvement. Both the speeches, Ramesh's speech close to that. Your speech, you have to learn how to close them. How can you close them? Say what you can do better. What are study complete 2 levels or 2 paths, or I will complete my TTEC. So that's a vision that you are setting for yourself. That's something that the audience will walk out and say that yes, he's got a vision in the next 6 months what to do. So comment, recommend, comment. That is the way you should do it. And a lot of it comes through practice. Keep practicing, and that is where you will kind of get it. Like when you see TV shows and all, when a comedian comes on stage, the first thing is they will throw a punchline at the audience. And the audience will react to it. That is how they have taught the audience. And then they will build on it. So that's how we have to do. The punchline should be first, get the punchline, then the content, and then the closing, the writing. To do all of this takes practice. Keep practicing, which is why I always tell people in closing, whatever you do, please attend your club meetings regularly, please give your speeches regularly, please do evaluations regularly. The only way to do that is that when you learn how to be a better evaluator. My session may help you in some manner, but unless you put it to practice, you are not going to get a benefit from it. So practice, 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 and then you will see that change coming in the way you will be a better evaluation. Thank you and back to you, Mr. Swami.
Thank you very much, sir, for the inspiring educational speech. In fact, I now recollect that I interacted with you on some issue. I don't know what, but you were so empathetic, you sort of go out for him so nicely. I was feeling yes.
Regarding credit card,
What?
regarding credit card while doing membership.
No.
Something to do with membership.
Yeah, in common, I think. So, experience, actually. And in appreciation of the speech, I would like to postpone on behalf
It's a photo.
Oh. Thank you.
So I will continue to this subject. I said savings is important, and where the hell do they save? We learn savings from ants. Ants save for rainy days. We have to save for rainy days. Rainy days means troublesome days. How it can come? In way of medical emergency, in case of an accident, or you save for a long-term goal, like you want to buy a car. You start saving some money to achieve a long-term goal. Saving is the first expense you should have. Many people say that. The first expense is savings. So, how you save? I told you, it is a ubiquitous process. You do it day over day, you continuously save. Then, how do you do save? That is the most important part of this speech. Saving, just keeping the money, surplus money with you, is not good savings. Please understand. You should understand that there is something called inflation, approximately 4 to 5%. So what is 100 rupees today is next year is 98 rupees. And a product which is 100 rupees today will cost you 105 rupees next year. So you just keep the money intact, you will be able to buy less. So after 10 years, your 100 rupees would have become something like 10 rupees. And it will be absolutely as good as no savings. So when you save, you should save and invest. Your investment should be much better than the inflation rate. That is, if the inflation rate is 5%, your saving should be invested in such a way that you get more than 5%, 8% or 10%, so that the money grows. The money should earn money for itself when you are sleeping. That is wise investment, please understand. You have to invest. And then, what are the tips for investment? I will give you a few tips before I break. First is, hard-earned money. In Nayagan, Kandalasan will say, meaning it is very hard to earn money. It's not easy job. There are opportunities you can earn, but it doesn't come easy way. You have to work hard. But saving is doubly difficult. You have to save it and see that money grows better than the inflation rate, and also it is safe. safe investment. So for any salaried person, what all I'm saying is will be applicable for lower income, middle class and upper middle class. The money is harder. So when you invest, there are 3-4 factors you have to look at. First and foremost is safety. Hard-earned money, it may grow or it may not grow, but you should never lose it. That will be the most unwelcome point of investment. Please ensure safety. So what are the safety, what are the most safe investments available? Yes. The simplest is FD in the bank. FD in the bank is safe. 99.9% in independent India, no PSU bank or a private commercial bank has ever closed down. Please understand. If the bank goes near closure, the government will pitch it like what they did for IDBI 3-4 years back. They pumped in 75,000 crores to revive a branch which was almost going bankrupt. They will do that because to safeguard the trust and faith people have in banking system. If that collapses, the entire economy collapses. Banks play a very crucial role in the economic development of the country. So it is the government job to keep the trust of the people in the bank issue. So safety is the first most important. I will talk about some more safe